Iceland, of course, the smallest nation to ever qualify for the World Cup. Argentina, led by Lionel Messi. How did this happen?
Argentina didn't play well enough and Iceland played very well. And I was disappointed with the way they were set up, Argentina. Two holding midfield players that didn't really... They were too deep. They're not going to create too much. Lionel Messi had to come deeper. He had to almost play 3-1-2s before he could get anywhere near goal. The two wide players didn't give enough. Meza down the right-hand side and Di Maria down the left-hand side. Aguero scored a great goal, but it was too slow. It was too pedestrian. They didn't switch play quickly enough, and it allowed Iceland to get good shape, good discipline. And every time they went forward, Iceland, when they got the ball forward into wide areas and got crosses into the box, Argentina struggled. It was a poor performance by Argentina.
It's a weird thing, isn't it? Iceland could have scored 3 in the first half.
Yes, and it comes not from them just committing a whole lot of numbers forward. It's a couple of turnovers by Argentina, and all of a sudden Iceland with 2 and 3 players, you have sitters. Bjarnason has a clear chance, clear opportunity to begin the game. The sort of nerves that you have from Argentina in that back line, and indeed Willy Caballero, the goalkeeper, you don't expect this from an Argentina national team. So I must look at this team and say, hold on a second. We have so much talent going in this direction, but back there, any time that the ball went in that direction, as Robo just pointed out, it was last-ditch effort, sort of tackle, sliding tackle, kind of see desperation, see what we can get out of this, and somehow we regain possession, and then maybe we go in the attack. Argentina was disappointing in so many different ways. Individually, yes, but certainly as a team, their inability to make decisions on the go and understand that, look, we got to pick up the pace of the game because every time we take 3 and 4 touches on the ball, Iceland can get behind the ball, and that's it. The chances are gone. Lionel Messi had 3 or 4 guys around him at every time that he touched the ball. That's to the credit of Iceland, but I think it also has to do with the inability of Argentina to recognize where the spaces are. Angel Di Maria, as talented as he is, he must be one of the dumbest players I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
His inability to recognize that, look, everything is happening down the middle. So why are you coming inside as well? And he does this so often and then starts dribbling inside. That brings more people into that area. There's no time and space to play. Stay out wide. Give yourself some space and then allow to be that free space between the center backs and the right back. That allows a runner to come out of the midfield. That allows Messi to run into that space, or maybe Aguero to have a diagonal run. But Di Maria comes inside. Mesa comes inside. There is no width. There's no service into the box. How are you supposed to break down a team that is so well organized? I don't know.
I've seen some people suggest that this isn't that big a shock because Iceland, of course, have impressed in the past, making it through to the quarterfinals of the Euros. But come on, this is Argentina.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in saying that, Iceland got organized. They did what they needed to do. But they won the penalty, Argentina. You think they go in the lead.
Yep.
Messi has his penalty saved. And otherwise, I think there's some nerves. And this Argentinian team, I think they know they're not as good as they can be. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. You look at the numbers in the back. They've got a ton of attacking flair, but do they have that balance to be good defensively, good attacking?
But
Are they aging?
They've got lots of attacking flair going forward. They've got the world's best player in Lionel Messi that can play around pressure. They've got Aguero as a centre forward, but I didn't think the wide players, and you just mentioned Di Maria being dumb, they didn't do enough in wide areas. The two holding midfield players were never really passing it into the front areas. They're passing it to the fullbacks. The fullbacks can't see a forward pass, so they're going to the centre halves. So there wasn't a great deal of attacking flair unless it went to Messi and he's playing around corners and trying to play little 1-2s.
This is the problem, it seems, in the sense that everything is all about getting the ball to Messi. If you get the ball to Messi, he runs, loses it, bounces off over, it goes back to an Argentinian player, it all starts again.
There was almost sometimes...
It's like deja vu.
But it was almost times, we got the ball to Messi, now let's all stand around and watch what he's going to do. And just almost like be a fan of what he's going to do.
All those players are worried about is how can they play the 1-2 with him. And he knows that. He's playing balls around the court. And Aguero actually played well to get the ball back to him on several occasions. And then Iceland got bodies in front of him and got blocks in. But there was one player that I thought was magnificent, and I'm going to use that word again, magnificent, for Iceland, and that was Sigurdsson. He was the player that every time he got the ball, he was producing that next forward pass. He produced the 2 crosses that caused problems for the Iceland goal. And every time he was in possession, he just held it up enough and wriggled out of situations just to allow other players to get forward to cause Argentina.
But remember, Iceland had like 27% possession, so he didn't have the ball at his feet too many times.
He did very well with it.
He relieved the pressure that they had.
The other thing I would say, if you're Jorge Sampaoli and you're standing there and you see how the game is going, you have to change it. That's why you're there.
Can they change it, though, Ollie? That's the question.
Well, I think at least you can make the effort. You bring Higuain earlier into the game. Yeah. You play with 2 strikers, and then you start asking for balls to be served into the box early, not having to get to the end line every time. No. How about we turn Iceland around and force them to defend in uncomfortable positions? If every time that Iceland is going to defend everything is in front of you, then it's simple. It's easy. You have everything in front of you, and all the movements so slow, lacking dynamic. If you're Argentina, how are you going to break down this team? Well, it's not working through the passing down the middle. Maybe we go with early services. And if you put a guy like Higuain in the box alongside Agüero, now you're forcing Iceland to defend numbers. And maybe, in that case, you jump on a rebound, something falls to Lionel Messi, top of the 18-yard box, and you have created an opportunity
where
there
should have
wasn't
made more and more, and the runs they should have made is how they got the penalty. Messi, for once, had a little bit of time on the ball, and it doesn't matter how many players are in front of it. If you can lift that ball in between a fullback and a centre-half for somebody making the run, that's going to kill any defence. And it was about to kill. He was about to get onto the end of it when he was shoved over.
You mentioned the penalty. Do you let Messi take any more? His record is not good from the start.
You take the ball off of Messi.
Well, but surely, isn't that your job as a coach, to make the big, hard decisions? If you see Lionel Messi, who has missed 50% of his last 10 penalties, surely you've got to certainly consider that decision.
Similarly to yesterday when we saw Cristiano Ronaldo about to take the free kick and you were thinking, well, maybe the left-footed player is a better angle to him.
We knew he wasn't going to do it.
Okay, he was never going to do it. It's never going to happen with Lionel Messi. No.
And should it happen, though?
I think you have to trust Lionel Messi.
Well, it only happens if...
Do we know Agüero's
Well, it's better than that.
Look, it only happens if Messi says...
Yes. It has to come from Lionel Messi.
It has to come from Messi.
It really has to come from Lionel Messi. Or maybe there's a conversation with Lionel Messi from his teammates. But who in that locker room is going to say, Leo, I'm the guy. Let me take the penalties. It's just not going to happen.
They get a penalty in the next game? Is he going to take it?
Yes.
Lionel Messi is going to take it. Yes.
I don't think he should.
I don't think he should either, but he's going to take it.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the question. Should he? Well, we see the record. It's not good, and it hasn't been good for a while. This is not new.
No.
We've seen him miss penalties with Barcelona and with Argentina as well. But we also know, having been in locker rooms, that when you have the team leader, the guy, and he's the one that picks up the ball, everybody moves to the side.